Okay, now this should be the final update, and now I'm going to put these in the box. I'm going to head out to the contest, and the next video you see should be in the contest room about 2 days from now. Okay, we're going to look at all 5 of them. Let's bring them out. Let's bring out Ferdinand and Mouse. Now they are headed in the right directions because this is the way to the Atlas terminal. So here they come. Now there's 2 terrible sections of track right here. Get them over. It's awful. I've shimmed them, but you see I got a new yard ladder to put in there. There we go. There they are. Okay. Let's get a close-up of them now. Bring them in. Wait. Somebody wanted to see what a Bachmann SD45 looks like. Or what my other one looked like that I did a couple years ago. That's it right there. Okay, so now here comes. There he is. And let's take a look at him. Let's see if we can get down lower. As I've been doing my final checks and stuff, tell you what, there's a high chance the judges are going to say, no, you can't do that. They're going to say this will not meet the minimum standard. But there it is. Let's come around here. Okay, can you see what I did for ditch lights? Now normally I make special ditch lights. But on this one I decided to use those crystals again. Because if this was made in a shop just now, ditch lights would be mounted down here. So that's where I put those 2. And I'll tell you what, they are super sparkly. See if we can get a sparkle out of them. Okay, let's look. Looks pretty good. I love the way it looks. So I don't care what anybody says about it. I love this. This is going to be a main feature of this layout. There's Ferdinand. Now here comes Mouse. Mouse is pointed the right direction to come back. When they make the return trip from the Atlas yard, see, they'll be coming downhill. That's why the Atlas, Ferdinand has got dynamic brakes. Help them out with the downhill, because they're going to bring back something that's heavy, and then they take with them something that's lightweight. So Mouse here, he does not have dynamic brakes. He doesn't need them. What they did, these 2, the Midway terminal and the Atlas terminal, they went 50-50, so they each got a locomotive since they make a transfer run to each other. So that's why they're like this. There's Mr. Mouse, and he's looking pretty good. Now, one of the things I expect somebody to say is, hey, they have no reporting marks on them. Well, on my layout, SOP is we don't use reporting marks on locomotives. Why? Because someone who's new, when they call the dispatcher, they're going to give a bunch of letters that are meaningless. So our SOP here is that a call sign for a locomotive is its name. This would be Midway 2051. That's how you call the dispatcher. Because he can see on the camera, he can look down, and letters and numbers he sizes, he can spot you. That's another kind of reason for the silver roof. But the exception to the rule will be if a locomotive has its own named name, like this one is Mouse, you can use that name. All right, we ready to see these guys hit the 15-inch? Okay, let's see it. Come on back. Okay, then we'll get a look at Mouse's cab. All right, the moment of truth. if that track can handle all that weight. It's getting so beat up. Ah, they made it. Look, and they're coupled together. Did you see that? You notice that? It's 15-inch radius. And they're coupled together. Uh-oh. Not this again. Ooh. There's a spot in that track there that nobody likes. Alright, let's take a look at his cab. Alright, you come on up here. Okay, so, same ditch light setup. You got a bunch of those nice crystals on them. Looking pretty good. He's got his horn. See, when I look at it on here, I love the way they look. And the people who operate on this, I have no doubt that this pair will be a favorite. People want to do this train. This will be the transfer run. Oh, you're running over my stick there. That's probably not too good. Okay. Now, you see my special effects. Let's check it out real close. Ferdinand here has got yellow and black reflectors. Is that cool? Yeah. No mouse here. He's got red and white reflectors. I should have brought a flashlight over here so we could do some reflectorizing. I could show you. I'll tell you what, when they move by and the light hits them, they are pretty sweet. Those red ones are really cool. So they run nice. At full speed, they're silent. Good, good, good to go. So now how about we examine the next pair? The next pair, we'll do them one at a time. So we've seen Ferdinand and Mouse. Let us bring out that old junker that has been rebuilt into a very sweet ride. Yes, the Tenshoto GP20, who is currently moving at 1 volt. Less. Okay, there is 0.5 volts, 6%, 7% power, and he moves. Okay, that's 15% power right there, so that is about 2 volts. That's about 2 volts right there. Wait. Okay, let's check his special features. Now, remember, this is brass, and these things were very notorious for being unreliable and difficult to get to run good. It ain't that way now. I mean, in my mind, being able to make this locomotive run this way is what the spirit of locomotive builder is about. My guess is they're not going to give me any points for this. It'll be, oh, that's cool, but it's not worth any points. Well, I can make it run like that. I think that's that demonstrates some skill. See his ditch lights? I'm going to get more of those Swarovski so I can use them for the headlights too. There they are. Some oyster tin that I cut with the scissors and bent into little brackets, and then I glued on those jewels. Remember, when you put those jewels on, you cannot use super glue. So I use goop on that one. And I did it the same way. We're using the tip of the X-Acto with a tiny bit of goop on there, and I stuck them on there. You can't pick those up with your fingers or tweezers because of the prism shape that they have. There's just nothing can grab onto it. So you hit them with the backside with a dot of glue on your pointy X-Acto. Now, one other thing I want to show you. See the screens? See that screen right there? You can all see all the way to the other side. I am not going to paint or weather that because regardless of what they say, it's too cool looking for me to try to get a point out of it when it looks that cool, and I'm using this on my layout. Contest or not, I'm running this thing, and I love that. That screen, what I took out from there was not good. It was a piece of like window screen that was brass, that was soldered to a brass plate that was soldered to the inside, and I replaced it with some screen I got from an RC store. I don't know what the RC guys do with this screen, but it's really cool looking. And it cuts with super easy with scissors. So that is, now, let's go for the turn. Did you hear that there's no change in power on this one? It's because that motor doesn't need to change power. It doesn't need more power because he's got super torque. And he's got the red and white reflectors and tons of jewels. And he's got his number boards. Notice also that at first glance it appears like it might be weathered or something. It's not. It's sharpened, I think. I don't like rust buckets, and I don't think that's a rust bucket. Now, it ain't factory fresh, but it's just the way I like it. It looks like the snow has just melted on it. For a brass locomotive, this thing has excellent sound. All right, now let's get our next one up here. The Tenshoto SD24. Essentially, so the SD24 is like the GP20. They're almost the same. For everything except the body, part of the body's longer, and it's got six axles. But they have the same drive system, and I put in the same motors for those drive systems. Oh, doggone it. This thing is really, really starting to get beat up over here. So he is a little bit louder. Oh yeah, I put nose bells on these guys too. Why? Because I like them. That's why. Okay, he's got the red and white reflectors, and the jewels, number boards, the screen. Look at that screen. Why would I want to replace that? I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to see on camera how cool it looks in person. It really looks cool. All right, let's give him the test. Now, you remember the old haircut test on number 6600? Goes around a 15-inch. Hold it. Let's back up. Look at those scratch coat fans. Yeah, somebody rightly pointed out They're probably not safe. Do they have a grill? They have one ring of a grill. But they are fully scratch built. And since I couldn't get other fans, and I couldn't keep these because the ones that were on there wouldn't let me put the winterization hatch on, which you gotta have. Well, you don't have to have, but I like to have. That's what I made. They're scratch built. There, you can actually look down on mine and see fan blades in there because I made fan blades. Maybe. They're in there. You see those silver dots? Those are fan blades. Anyways, let's get them. Go around the curve. 15-inch radius test. And you remember the other one? When he goes around the curve, you kind of got to power up. This one, it doesn't even phase him. Well, he's loud, but not that loud, and definitely not loud for brass. Yep, I'm pleased. Another one that can be run on the layout. All right, last one. Mr. Giant. Mr. Giant, the SD7. Now, Giant Terminal is somewhat mysterious because all I know is Giant Terminal needed a low horsepower unit that could handle loading, where it's got to run kind of continuously cars through, and had dynamic brakes because there's a hill they got to come down with heavy stuff. Here he comes. Let's back up and zoom in on his cab. So I got one of those cabs. Remember with that L-shaped window in it? You know why I put that on there? Because it's cool. That's why. I got to live with this. No judge has to live with this. Well, BNSF has an SD9-3, which is a lot like this, except it doesn't have the L-shaped window. I also put a nose bell on it. And all the handrails are blue, so there's no safety stripes on handrails and stuff. I don't answer to anybody, so that's the way we're doing it here. But he's got those reflectors all up his stairs and everything. This year, there will be a great number of these style, or at least this color, locomotives built, because it turned out that good. I love it. I love this thing. I mean, this really surprised me how cool it is. Now, you can see back there, I've tested this paint before, and it looked cool. This is the first locomotive with it, and it does look cool. Love it. Let's see how he does on the 15-inch. Oops, let's go forward. He's got a lot of bling, too. Oh! Get it out. Oh, man, we gotta be careful. Now is not the time to be going off the... Oh. Yep. Like I said, this thing is getting so beat up. The track sags right here because I haven't built the bridge here. But he does make it a little growly. Remember that this one has the same motor as the old 6600 twin potential brass that we did a long time ago. So they growl on that turn. But otherwise, there he is. Looks good. This is it. I'm packing them up. And next time you see me, it'll be in the contest room.